Let's be honest, when it comes to dating, what most people are secretly wondering is, how do I get someone not just to like me, but to stay interested, to commit, to actually want more with me, not less over time? Because let's face it, attraction is easy. Keeping it, that's the challenge. That's what separates someone who's just a good time from someone who becomes irresistible. And I'm going to tell you something most dating advice doesn't. The thing that gets a man addicted to you forever isn't about looks. It's not about how many emojis you use or whether you wait 2 hours to text back. It's not about playing games. The real magic, it happens when you become the woman he feels emotionally addicted to, not just attracted, addicted. And no, not in some toxic, unhealthy way. I mean, emotionally captivated, a deep, sincere and lasting pull that makes him want to invest, commit, and protect what he has with you. So how do you become that woman? First, you have to understand what men actually crave in a relationship. Even if they don't say it out loud, a man might not walk around talking about his feelings, but he absolutely craves a deep emotional experience. He wants to feel seen, safe, desired, and needed, but in a way that aligns with his masculine energy. And here's the kicker. Most women never learn how to trigger that experience. They focus on external things, how they look, how often they reply, whether they're easy or hard to get, when what really pulls a man in is something entirely different. It's about how you make him feel about himself when he's around you. You see, we're all addicted to our own emotions. Think about the people you love being around. You love them because of how you feel when you're with them. You might say it's their personality or their humor, but underneath it all, it's about you, how you feel in their presence. That's the key to getting a man addicted to you. It's not about being the most beautiful woman in the room. It's about being the woman who makes him feel like the best version of himself. So let's break down how to do that moment by moment, message by message, date by date. It starts with something that may sound counterintuitive. You have to stop trying to impress him. Yep, that instinct to showcase your best self, to over-explain your worth, to make sure he knows you're different, special, high value. That's what most people do when they're afraid of not being enough. But here's the truth. People aren't drawn to those who need to be seen a certain way. They're drawn to those who are already comfortable with who they are. The woman who gets him addicted is the one who owns her energy. She knows she doesn't have to be loud to be powerful, or constantly performing to be magnetic. Her self-worth is quiet, but it's undeniable. Now imagine you're on a date. The usual thing to do is to talk about your accomplishments, your goals, the things that make you a catch. But what if instead you were simply present? What if you made the conversation about connection, not proving yourself? You asked curious, open-ended questions. You made him feel seen. You laughed from the gut. You shared something real about your day, not to impress, but to be known. That's intimacy, and it's rare. People don't fall in love with our highlight reel. They fall for our humanity, our quirks, the unfiltered things we say without overthinking. That's what makes someone feel connected. So the first secret to emotional addiction, let him see the real you, not the polished, curated version, the real one. Because when someone feels like they're seeing a side of you that nobody else gets to see, that creates intimacy, and intimacy is what fuels addiction. Next, let's talk about emotional variety. What makes a relationship exciting isn't constant happiness, it's contrast, depth, movement. Think about your favorite movie. It doesn't hold your attention because it's upbeat the whole time. It grips you because it has range, joy, sadness, laughter, tension, relief. Relationships are the same, and conversations, even via text, can reflect that emotional journey. If you're always positive, always agreeable, always pleasant, it starts to feel flat, predictable, and predictable, over time, becomes forgettable. But if you bring contrast, now you've got something dynamic. You've got conversations that make his heart race 1 minute, and feel warm the next. You become the woman who surprises him, who makes him think, laugh, feel. So don't be afraid to be playful one moment and sincere the next. Tease him, then ask something deep. Flirt, then open up. That range keeps him emotionally engaged. It keeps him invested, because he never knows exactly what's coming, but he knows it's always real. Another piece of the addiction puzzle, it's your standards, and not just standards for him, but for yourself. The way you show up, the way you let people treat you. Men are drawn to women who have high standards, not because they're hard to please, but because they respect themselves. They know what they deserve. They don't chase validation. They're willing to walk away if something doesn't feel right. And this isn't about being cold or aloof. It's about having a quiet strength. When you show a man that you're happy on your own, but open to sharing your joy with the right person, that's powerful. When you don't tolerate disrespect, not even subtle disrespect, that's attractive. And when you don't need someone, but choose them from a place of abundance, that's irresistible. Now let's talk about one of the most powerful emotional hooks you can create: shared vulnerability. There's a myth that says men don't want emotional connection, but that's not true. What men often resist is emotional pressure, feeling like they have to perform emotionally on command. But when vulnerability is mutual, organic, and safe, that's when walls come down. So let him see you. Share your fears, your stories, your mistakes, not as a performance, but as a way to connect. I've been thinking about how hard it is for me to ask for help sometimes. I'm trying to get better at that. Or I get nervous when I really like someone. It brings up all these insecurities, but I'm learning to lean into it anyway. That kind of honesty creates space for him to be honest too. And when two people meet in that space, that's where emotional addiction is born. Now let's shift to physical presence. Your body language, your tone of voice, your eyes. These things communicate more than words ever can. When you're with him, be with him. Make eye contact. Smile when you feel joy. Touch his arm when you're laughing. Don't be afraid to take up space. This isn't about seduction in a superficial sense. It's about energy. When you bring warm, relaxed, open energy into a room, it's magnetic. He'll start to crave not just your touch, but your presence. People remember how you make them feel. And when your presence feels like peace, play and passion, all in one, that's the kind of energy that stays with someone long after you leave the room. Now I want to say something important. None of this works if you're not showing up for you. The goal here isn't to get a man addicted so you can feel whole. It's to be whole and let him get addicted to that. So work on your joy, your passions, your self-talk, your relationships outside of romance. The more you invest in you, the more you become naturally magnetic. You won't have to try, you'll be. And that's when everything changes. Because the right man isn't looking for someone who needs him to fill a hole. He's looking for someone who inspires him, challenges him, holds him, and who doesn't lose herself trying to keep him. So if you want to be the woman he can't get enough of, be the woman who's already enough for herself, then love him, show up, give without losing yourself, and he'll come to cherish what you two have, not because you manipulated anything, but because it feels rare and real. That's the truth no one tells you. Emotional addiction isn't built on fantasy. It's built on honesty, presence, depth, and the courage to let someone see you, and to truly see them back. And when you give that to the right man, he'll be addicted in the best possible way, for a lifetime.